Unfiltered.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pastors Unfiltered. Today's a special, special day. In the last few months, had a great co-host in David Manuel Diaz. He did phenomenal. Chad Diaz. Last week, we had the beautiful Calvin Klein himself. Pastor Cole was here. But today, folks, is special because I'm joined by my lovely co-host. He's back, everyone. Dr. Reverend Brandon Beals, everyone. Come on.
Thank you. Remember, David was not a co-host. He is an intern.
We had the button. Oh, yeah, we heard it. It felt like you were in the room with us every time.
It's going to take me a little bit to get used to this, but we now do the podcast without a headset on. So I'm assuming I sound normal.
Someone made a comment that I looked like a kettlebell. That's why I don't want to wear them anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm bald and I don't care. I don't care. So you have been gone for a while. We're going to unpack your sabbatical here. But first things first, let's shout out sponsors. Logos Bible Software. Check them out for all your Bible study needs. Use promo code WeAreVenture to get a discount. Shout out King Size Movie Reviews, Sean and Rebecca King's movie account on Instagram, Facebook, and our newest sponsor, Anderson Lawn Care. Call them for all your lawn care needs. PB.
Hey, can I ask a question about our sponsors?
Yeah.
So our new season of Pastors Unfiltered, we're just going to arbitrarily say it starts in September. So this is the end of this season.
New sponsors.
So does that mean our sponsors have to re-up and do something for us again?
They got to do something. I gave them a shout out for about a year.
King Size Movie Reviews gave us a microphone.
Yes.
But we ate that seed a long time ago. They should be giving us something new going into this next season. And what is Anderson Lawn Care? I better be more than a shirt. Do I get free lawn care?
We'll address that after the pod. Pastor's discount.
If you're going to tell me he did David's lawn for free.
You do your lawn for
David
free?
Gets no sponsors.
Dude. Anyways, let's move on. Hey, so quick question. People have been wondering. I've been asked this many times. While you were gone,
okay,
did you listen to the podcast?
I listened to the Jeremy Johnson one.
Okay.
I thought Jeremy was great. I love Jeremy. I claim Jeremy probably more than Jeremy likes to be claimed by me.
Sure.
But I felt like he was very honoring of me and our history. So I did listen to that one, and I listened to half of Virgil's.
Virgil did phenomenal.
But here's my only constructive criticism with Virgil's.
Okay.
Is I thought Virgil was excellent, but Virgil gave in 40 minutes 5 separate leadership lessons. It was turn on the fire hose, let me spray you. So I actually think Virgil would be amazing as a regular guest, where maybe he took those 5 leadership lessons and did one so that you could process it.
He did great.
So.
He did great.
But those are the only 2 that I listened to. I'll eventually get back around to them. Part of the reason that I didn't do it is because what I learned on the sabbatical is mentally it was really easy for me to click back into wanting to be the pastor. And every time I would shift back into pastor mode, I would just basically shrug my shoulders and think I should just go back to work. And so I really had to do everything I could to stay as disconnected as possible.
I think before we move on, I do want to pause and just have some gratitude. PB, we have a handful of listeners, I mentioned this last week, who are diehard, wait till Friday, talk about the podcast, DM us, message us. I just want to say, I think it's pretty cool that we have an audience.
Hey,
I think this is legit.
We have the faithful 200.
We really do.
Yeah.
It's Doug Harkness, one of our top fans.
Wow.
Stacy Dawn, one of our top fans. April Swift.
Keziah
Weller, who's on his honeymoon right now.
I bet he's going to listen to this on his honeymoon.
He was glowing the other day when I saw him. It's cool. It's just really humbling. So thank you for this opportunity. Other question I have for you, and then we'll talk all about Switzerland here. So we had made a deal with you. Okay. Me, Papi Chulo, and Greenewalt. And Judah, if we grew the podcast, you would take us out to dinner to Rare Society. I'm gonna be really honest with you. It didn't grow. I'm gonna be even more honest with you.
So is this just proving that you were missing the talent?
Oh, I mean, obviously, it's about you. Now, no one listens to this thing every Friday and goes, I wonder what Tony has to say today. Come on. All right. I'm just the campus pastor in Seattle. So can we have some type of meal together still? Maybe Thai food?
So I don't even remember what the deal I made with you guys was. So how many followers on Instagram was
500 followers and 250 on Instagram. And I'm
whoa. What is our YouTube page up to, Greenie?
Let's
250. Woo, that's not bad.
That's not bad. So can we do some type of like crispy garlic chicken? Maybe not necessarily a steak.
How about this? I will take you guys to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, all right. Beggars can't be choosers. We'll do it.
Okay.
Should we negotiate?
We could wait the 3 years till the In-N-Out eventually opens, and I'll take you to In-N-Out in 3 years.
Do we want to negotiate?
You know what I could do? Well, I could take you to the Morgan Wallen concert, and then you could cancel out at the very last second.
Oh, I would never do that to you. I'm faithful.
Okay.
Except I did that to you with Jim Gaffigan. So anyways, PB, you're back. Honestly, I'm really excited that you're back. I really did miss you. I think our entire staff did. I will say this on record because we're unfiltered. You seem, not saying you weren't this before, you just seem chill. You seem like you're relaxed. Nothing's,
Yeah, I would say. Let me before I dive into that, I'll answer that question. That wasn't a question; it was a statement, but I'll respond to it like it's a question in a second. Tony, I did get you a gift. I thought about you while I was gone.
Here we go.
So
trinkets, folks.
Here's the story. I ended up going to Disneyland with my wife because I was speaking for Higher Vision Church, and so part of the trip we went to Disneyland. Ironically, I ended up hanging out for 2 days with your wife and her friends while they were there.
I know.
The funny thing about being in Disneyland with those 20-something girls is Di and I kept looking at each other saying, we should leave the girls alone and let them just be by themselves because we didn't think they'd want to hang out with us old people. And every time we would leave, they would text us, where are you? We want to find you. So
Ariel mentioned that. I know.
They just wanted to hang out with us the entire time.
That was awesome.
So the first night, Ariel had gotten reservations at a restaurant, and I thought, I want to see if I can pull off getting reservations at Club 33.
Okay, I was going to say, you got to explain what Club 33 is.
For those of you that are Disneyland fans, Club 33 is this very exclusive private restaurant. It's a hidden restaurant in Disneyland. The history behind it is Walt Disney, when he first built Disneyland, wanted a very high-end restaurant to take dignitaries to, like big investors and things like that too. And it's hidden in New Orleans Square. Yeah. So today you have to get a membership. It's something like $30,000 a year to get a membership to it. And then you have to pay for the food. And there's a waiting list on the membership that they say is up to 25 years to ever get a membership at Club 33. So it's really hard to get into. But if you know someone who has a membership and there is an opening, they can get you reservations.
It's like a country club just for food.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we had our church redesigned, like our brand redone 5 years ago, the company that did it, Plain Joe, the CEO of Plain Joe, has a membership at Club 33. And he and I hit it off. Yeah. And so a couple times 5 years ago, he booked Di and I reservations at Club 33, so we did it. But I have not talked to, his name is Blake. I hadn't talked to Blake in 5 years. And, in those 5 years, COVID came. The world has changed.
Yeah, he could be.
And by the way, he doesn't even work at Plain Joe anymore.
Oh, of course.
So I tracked him down on Facebook. I Facebook stalked him. And I sent him a random message on Facebook and said, hey, I don't know if you remember me. And I kind of gave him all this. And I said, is there any way you could hook me up with a reservation at Club 33? Here's how it went. He reaches back to me right away, connects me with his assistant. And I had at a pastor's meeting in Miami that I was doing earlier this year, I had recommended him and Plain Joe to a church that ended up signing a contract for a rebrand with them.
Wow.
And he, as a way to thank me,
got
me reservations at Club 33. So Di and I were there, took some of our friends there with us, and it was great. And at Club 33, there's exclusive items that you can only buy at Club 33.
Lotions.
The
merch, lotions. Oh, yeah. I've been there. I ate there.
I did not get you any lotions. But I did get you the Club 33
golf my goodness.
Kit. Look at those.
PB.
I know. Hey.
Holy.
I'm good. So
these are bro, these are Pro V1s. These are Pro V1s. Oh, I'm not swinging. These are going on my office.
Well, and they're Club 33 monogram. Look at that.
I can't use them. I'll use the ball marker. Oh my. Well, thank you, PB. What an honor. Wow, Titleist. Wow, PB, thank you. I feel like crap because I got you something too.
So I want to mention that I looked on eBay. That right there sells on eBay for 5 times what I paid for it. So if you just wanted to make money, you could go sell it on.
No. Wow, you're not kidding. I'm swooning. Well, I got you something too.
Okay.
You were gone. And well, our church, we love gifts. We give gifts to people and gifts to, you get gifts all the time. So I got you something too while you were gone.
Okay. Did I get a We Are Family t-shirt?
You guys ready for this? Come on. Pastors Unfiltered, everyone. I got PB something.
The fact that it's in a brown paper bag.
Here we go, folks.
From Fred Meyer.
We got him. We Are Venture 20-year Frisbee. You weren't here for that.
I heard that these break.
Don't worry about that.
Really easily.
And for all your coffee and A&W diet root beer needs, Do Hard Things mug.
Huh, all right.
Come on, someone. I feel like that's very comparable to Titleist Pro V1s. I got to call my friend Tim about this.
I will be doing an Instagram poll at who is a better gift giver, Brandon or Tony. If I promised one of our listeners that you could get a gift, but only one of us could choose the gift, who would you want buying your gift, me or Tony?
Oh, I don't do shopping in my home.
Back to the sabbatical thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk sabbatical. We're only going to, we want to give you an update on what we're going to do for the next several weeks. So this week we'll talk about sabbatical. Next week, we know that there's been some crazy things that have happened in the world. Presidents
getting shot at,
deciding they don't want to run,
moral failures in the church,
pastors messing up. And I am going to address all of those things next week. So next week will be the unedited, unfiltered, my opinion on all the craziness in the world. Oh, Lord. But to ease our way in,
that's how we get canceled.
Tony's just going to ask me questions about the sabbatical. But the biggest thing that happened for me was, start with your question again. I totally spaced.
You seem refreshed.
You
seem
yes,
rested.
yes.
Yeah.
I shared this at church on Sunday. So if you missed it, you should go back, listen to the podcast from Sunday morning service. But I did not think I was tired. Like, I didn't feel tired.
Yep.
I didn't feel like I needed a rest. I didn't feel like I needed a break. Until Di and I went to Hood River, Oregon. Oh. And we were going to hike around Multnomah Falls, and we spent 3 days there, and we stayed at a really fun glamping cabin. Cool. And it was really cool. I got it for Di for her birthday. Cause it's, her love language is let's go hiking. Fun. I call it walking up a hill, but she calls it hiking. And this glamping place, it had a hot tub in it. It was really nice. And they served us food. What happened is we would go hiking, lay down at about 7:00 and fall asleep.
No way.
And we did this for 4 straight nights. And normally, like, when you fall asleep at 7, you wake up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And we would wake up at like 8 a.m. And it was at the end of this, Di is the one that said it. She was like, I had no clue how tired we were. Mm. And so that was the beginning that, wow, we did need rest. And then it took probably another 2 or 3 weeks for me to completely disconnect from work and all that. And the way that I would describe it, and if there's any other pastors listening, you'll relate to this, that leading a church, you have this and I don't mean anxiety in a negative sense, but you have this like heightened level of anxiety, like you're amped. And you have adrenaline, maybe is a better way to put it. And that adrenaline kind of keeps you going, keeps you motivated. You add coffee to it, and you're just at this high level of amped, anxious adrenaline, and you live that way. And it's pretty much that way 12 months out of the year. And all of a sudden, that went away. And I was just like normal. Like the crazy thing is I slept great at night.
Wow.
This is going to sound bizarre. Like, for those of you who didn't know, I am an insomniac. Like, I take medication to sleep at night. I have a very regimented sleep routine. And it's been this way, like, since my youth pastor days. I had never slept better. In the, it was crazy.
You can't really turn off on vacation.
Yeah, I have an Oura Ring, which, takes, checks my heart rate and, my activity levels and things, and it also grades my sleep. And I mean, normally Oura Ring tells me every morning, you get a fair score, fair. And I got good or great. It was like Oura Ring was saying, what did you do that was different, Brandon? So that was, I was just relaxed and it was really nice. The first day I had insomnia, guess when it was?
Saturday night.
It was.
Was it really?
Yes. And I went to bed. I did everything I'd normally done. I'd worked out. I didn't drink any caffeine. I did my normal routine. And I just, at 2 a.m, I was just like, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
You're back in the game.
I was like, all of a sudden, it's like my body knew.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. And I say all this to say that I love my job. I missed being here. Really missed the people of the church, missed the staff. Crazy thing I missed. I missed my office.
This is a great office.
My office is so like relaxing and cool and fun to hang out in.
My favorite thing is when we'd bring in guest speakers on the pod and they'd come in here and go, whoa. And they just they didn't know how to react.
It's a little bit of sensory overload.
Where did he get all this? Like everywhere he's been.
Every guest speaker, by the way, and it was really fun because the beginning, I think we had like 5 guest speakers over that 6 weeks. Yeah. And I did that intentionally because I wanted to keep the energy of the staff up and things. And by the way, I haven't even told you guys this yet to the staff. So this is the first time everybody will hear and everybody in the room. But every single guest speaker, number one, said they have never been treated that level of hospitality ever.
Awesome.
And to a person, they would say, man, we got to step up how we treat people. They were blown away.
Great.
I heard from every single guest speaker, Venture, like that is the most fun church I've ever preached to. Cool. Like that church is great. And I've told our church, they probably think I'm just saying it, but I mean it. There is no more fun church to preach to than Venture. And I love, I had great experiences. I spoke at 5 churches while I was on sabbatical and loved every one of them. But there's just nothing like our people and the way they respond to the gospel and things like that. But hearing my friends talk about my staff and my church, it just kind of kept, every time I would hear the story, I would think, I can trust this. It's going to be okay. So I went on the Convoy of Hope cruise. It was the last thing I did.
Pastor Virgil
was there.
Can you tell me about it?
And there was a couple other guys that were kind of floating around the church that were there. And this is like weeks after these guys had visited the church, spoke at the church, and they just could not stop talking about how great of an experience it was. Virgil, in particular, said, I was blown away by your hospitality. I was blown away by your generosity.
We pay well.
I was blown away by everything. And he said, I left there thinking I have to do better in every one of these things. So I was just super proud of the staff. So
staff killed it. They did a really good job this
summer. What do you want to know about my sabbatical?
Okay. So, I mean, obviously we could talk through what you had, fun moments, countries you liked, like of all the countries you visited, which ones you love them. Let's do that. You visited Switzerland, Ireland, Where else?
Iceland.
It
went Iceland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Switzerland, Austria, Greece, Italy, and Turkey.
Of all those countries, which one was your favorite and why?
They were all like radically different. So here's what I would say. Like for those of you that love travel, and one of mine and Dai's goals in life is we don't like repeating places that we've been before. We would rather experience new things. And we want to, in our life, we want to go everywhere and do everything. And so travel is just, it's a part of our value. So I will share, if you're into travel, Iceland was very unexpected.
That's what I hear.
Here's why we went to Iceland. We went to Iceland because when you're flying to Europe, you always have at least one connecting flight. And believe it or not, it's really cheap to fly from Seattle to Iceland.
It's a straight shot.
It's a straight shot. It's only a 6.5 hour flight. You can usually do it for about $500 round trip. Seriously, it's not expensive.
That's cheaper than going to Florida.
So it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
We knew that we were going to spend that month in Europe, and we decided on Iceland. And my wife didn't want to do it at first, but I sold her on, we'll do outdoorsy things. We'll hike or walk up a hill, whatever you want to call it. And Iceland was freezing cold, so I didn't bring a jacket. I had to buy a jacket the first day, but it was just spectacular. It was one cool, like things were so stunning in Iceland. You got used to stunning. Like you would see one waterfall that was so spectacular you'd never seen anything like it before.
It's cool.
Like these waterfalls made Multnomah Falls or Snoqualmie Falls look lame. It was really amazing. So that was really fun. Ireland we love. You know, I'm part Irish, like the rest of America is part Irish.
Did you have a Guinness?
I don't drink.
Oh, that's right.
My children all had Guinnesses, did they not?
Mr. Judah.
They did. That was the only thing my kids really wanted to do is the Guinness tour. But
sure,
I think what was so much fun about Ireland is, number one, it was great seeing the kids, but watching how much fun my kids had together in Dublin. Now, if you've never been to Ireland before, every vision you have of Ireland in your head, it meets all of those, your imaginations. Irish people are a blast. The food is amazing. Dublin is super fun, safe. And then we went to Belfast and drove all around, saw castles, and Ireland's pretty killer.
I was going to ask you in regards to food, because, you know, I'm a foodie. You go to all these nations and they have their dishes. I'm sure in Iceland it's probably more like fish. And then you go to Ireland and it's more like stuff from the ground and whatnot. And obviously like bangers and mash, that kind of stuff. Was there food that you ate and you're like, I can't do this? Or did you just try all the food everywhere you went?
Well, I pretty much will eat anything. Di has to remind me I'm allergic to certain things, so she says you shouldn't eat that or you'll get sick. Iceland, the food is terrible.
Oh,
so if you're an Icelandic Scandinavian person, please don't hate me, but your food is nasty. One particular day, and we did in Iceland, there's two main touristy things you do. One is you do the Golden Circle, which you can do in like 2 days, or you do the Ring Road, which is where people get a camper and they drive around the whole island, and it takes about a week. But you are you are as far north as you can get, close to the Arctic Circle, in towns with 400 people and one restaurant and no food. And I remember we were starving. We hadn't eaten in like 6 hours, and we went to this place. I don't know how it was a restaurant, but it was a restaurant, and they had a bowl of fish soup. She hands me a bowl and says, the fish soup's right over there, points. And so I went over, ladled it up, and ate the fish soup myself. Yeah, the place was so strange that I actually took a picture of Di in front of it. I didn't like the Icelandic food. Ireland food is awesome.
Yeah.
But because Ireland's cold, it's very like heavy food, rich food.
Yeah.
So too much of that, and you feel like I need to go on a diet.
Yeah.
But like the food there, the food in Switzerland is terrible.
Oh.
So after Ireland, we went to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And Switzerland is everything you picture with Switzerland. Same way.
Goats roaming the hills and
It's cows with bells around their neck and pointy mountains and everything's a pain to get to because you go on this train to this train. You got to hike up a hill and we stayed in really cute little towns and things like that. If you're ever going to Switzerland, I'd recommend, my favorite part of Switzerland was Zermatt, which is where the Matterhorn is. Oh. And we only stayed there one night, and I think all my kids would agree. I wish we'd have stayed maybe a couple nights. There was just a lot to do there. The town was very cool and fun. All I wanted in Switzerland, Tony, was a cuckoo clock. I wanted to get
Did you get one?
Cuckoo clock from Switzerland and hang it in my office.
You didn't get one?
Well, the only actually Swiss-made cuckoo clocks that we found were in Zermatt, but that was our first day, and everybody convinced me to wait. And every other place we went, they only had German-made cuckoo clocks, and I wasn't going to buy a German-made cuckoo clock to remember Switzerland by, so that was lame.
I feel like you could be writing a sermon in here, and all of a sudden, cuckoo, cuckoo.
I know. I just kept thinking I was trying to convince Di how a cuckoo clock would fit the aesthetic of our beach house that we have in Mukilteo. And I could just picture the cuckoo coming out. It would drive my dog Ozzy bonkers.
Can I ask my ADHD mind a practical question? You're gone for a month. Like, did you do laundry there? Like, obviously, like, did you guys find like laundromats or how does that work? This is the most difficult thing is remember, we started in Iceland where it was 40 degrees and we ended in Greece where it was 90 degrees, 100% humidity. And we had to pack for everything. So we had to limit because we were hiking all around and carrying stuff. So we had to limit the amount of clothes we did. So we did wash clothes probably maybe 3 times during it. And got really sick of wearing the same shoes. Yeah. Got really sick of wearing the same shirts and jeans. So if it looks like, did Brandon have one outfit? Pretty much. I did. If you did you eat pretty well in Turkey? Did you enjoy Turkey?
Well, let me keep going. So then we went to Austria.
Vienna, right?
Vienna.
Yeah.
So we had no expectation. We had 3 days after Switzerland, before we went on the Convoy of Hope cruise. And the 3 days in Vienna, it was either Vienna or Prague. We were trying to decide which one to go, and we decided to check Vienna off. Had no expectations. I had booked this hotel.
They have like coffee houses there, don't they? Like really bougie.
Everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had any of this stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Vienna was so nice, so rich with history. It has history and modern, and it was inexpensive.
Clean, elegant.
Clean. Yeah. Food wasn't good again. Not very late unless you like bratwurst, which I do. Di doesn't. The first night we were in Vienna, we were just kind of walking around the town, and we said, where should we get food? And the hotel said, go down to this place. We walked all the way down there, and we came upon the creepiest amusement park I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, what was up with that? I saw pictures of that.
I forgot the name of it.
So it's just an amusement park, but it looked terrifying.
Apparently it's a famous amusement park, but it has taken every Disney ride and made it evil.
What the?
Like everything was evil. There was an evil clown ride.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it was like.
Were there kids there?
Oh yeah. I could not figure it out. I was like, there has got to be like mass murders that have happened here, cults that exist in this place.
Canceled out here.
It was an evil amusement park.
You guys enjoy it? Were the rides fun?
There was not a way. I wasn't trusting one of those rides. Every ride looked totally death-defying, terrifying.
Like built by the Soviet Union in the 50s.
One of the fun things that happened in Austria is whenever I travel, so this is another travel hint for people, travel tip, is book tours through Tours by Locals. So Viator's not bad, and Book Your Guide, that other app, isn't bad, but Tours by Locals is the best. Okay. And that is because you get a local that will walk you around, and they're usually less expensive, and they'll take you to all the places locals will go. Cool. So we booked a Vienna tour by Tours by Locals with Olga. And when Olga meets us, she has an entire camera set up. It's like walking around with Erica Lane or Erica Wall.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, your tour includes a photo shoot. And Diana are like, we just thought we were going to stand in front of famous monuments and you'd take a selfie.
Were you dressed in like Raiders gear or like?
I wasn't dressed like I thought I was doing a photo shoot. I was wearing a hat, and so we would get to this place and she would tell us the history of it. And she'd say, "All right, let's do the photo shoot." And it was totally like being with Erica Wall. I mean, just making us pose, do all these different things, making Di and I kiss, and let's just walk down here while will you take off your hat, Brandon? And the whole time I'm like, these pictures are never going to see the light of day.
Where are they? Are they on the internet?
I posted the 5 that I was willing to allow the world to see on our Beals Adventure Instagram. But can I describe one of the pictures?
Please.
She took Di off by herself into a rose garden.
Oh, I have to see this. Please. Please.
And made Di hold a rose like this.
Please. We don't have to put it on camera. Please. If you love me, let me see this.
Di, when I showed her the picture, she goes, "If you ever post that, I will never forgive you."
Okay. She looks precious. What are you talking about?
No, she looks gorgeous.
It's not as cheesy as you... Okay. It does look like Soviet Union Di. What was that? Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I see it now.
Anyways, so Austria was a surprise. We had a blast. And so then after Austria, we flew to Greece. Greece was, by the way, they're having all those flight issues. Like because
were
of that,
you there for that?
The hacker.
For the Microsoft?
Fortunately, we were only doing like 2-hour flights, so we
nice.
were only delayed like 45 minutes. But people like missed the cruise. Never got like Virgil and Angela Brown never got their luggage on the cruise.
What did they wear?
Well, Virgil wears 2 different shirts for an entire month, just keeps washing.
Shorts.
So he had this red shirt that he washed every night. It was the same red. It would be cruise chic night. Virgil's wearing his red button-up shirt. It would be casual day, walking around the tours. Virgil's wearing his red button-up shirt. Virgil didn't care, but yeah, so that was brutal. But Greece was packed and hot. And
no, I'm gonna be honest. I've never been to Greece. All my friends have been to Greece. The islands, all the islands to choose from. I don't know, maybe because I'm from the Middle East. I don't care for Greece.
Can I give you a hot take?
It's overrated. Instagram's just for Instagram.
Oh, did you know that even the locals, because again, we would hire by tours by locals things, and they would say, everything you see on Instagram is people only come to get Instagram pictures in these spots.
Santorini and all that. I don't.
Santorini is single-handedly the most overrated place I have ever been. Santorini is maybe made for 500 people. And when 4 cruise ships show up and there's 10,000 people in 85-degree, 90% humidity, if you were to ask my wife right now, would you ever go back to Santorini again? If someone paid for you to go to Santorini, all expense paid, she'd say, I'd rather stay home.
That says something.
We did like Mykonos. So we went to Mykonos, same thing on that ship. And shout out to Mykonos because it's where your hero Cole and his wife Sydney went on their honeymoon.
You know why I love the only parts of Greece that I love is it reminds me a lot of The Godfather when Michael Corleone has to go to Italy to lay low.
You realize that's Sicily in Italy.
I know, but it's very similar. It's all the Mediterranean.
Well, you can just do the Amalfi Coast and actually
I
love
the Amalfi Coast. I've been there. Yeah.
Last year, Di and I did the Godfather Sicily locations, and those are really fun too if you've never done that, because those are basically like almost abandoned towns. Like there's like 1,000 people that live in the town. Yeah. So if you ever hear in the news that like Italy's selling houses for $5,000, they're usually in Sicily up on a mountain with a gorgeous view of the water.
Have you heard about this?
Yes.
But the rule is you have to live there. You have to reside there.
And fully remodel it.
Yeah.
They'll let you have, Italy allows you to have dual citizenship.
So you went on a cruise. A lot of people ask all the time, because Ariel and I are big cruise people. Are you?
You are.
We love, and we know which ones.
So what do you love about cruises?
I love the fact that it's hit and run tourism. Probably sucks for the locals, but I love that I know I have a place to sleep. I don't have to worry about my food. All that's covered.
Yeah, all the travel happens while you're sleeping.
Entertainment is whatever. It is what it is. I like the amenities. I enjoy the game shows, meeting people. Love that. And there's different lines. You know, like Carnival's like your Walmart. Royal Caribbean's like the Target. Celebrity is like your Bellevue Square Mall. You know, are you guys cruise people?
We have been on 7 cruises.
Okay.
But I would not say we are cruise people. It sounds crazy, but we are in our 50s. I have not paid for one cruise that I've been on. They've all been gifts. I mean, they're fun. You do get a quick view of a place.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff to do. We did last year a 10-day cruise, and that was too long. So a 7-day cruise is great. This probably out of every cruise I've ever done was my least favorite favorite ports that I'd ever done. So I know a lot of people like the Greek Isle cruise. It just wasn't our jam.
Were there any comedians on the cruise?
They were terrible.
Entertainment on the cruises, folks.
There was this.
It's not worth staying
the
up for.
The comedian was from Belfast.
Oh.
He just was not funny at all. Like he primarily the people on this cruise ship are Americans, and all of his jokes are about living in Belfast, and everybody's like looking at him. I spent 1 day in Belfast, so that's how much I know about it. And like the whole time, like nobody gets. He goes, you know, like when you're in Belfast and this happens, and everybody's like,
no, we don't know.
We just told you we were from Texas. We don't know anything about Belfast.
Or from Dallas. Yeah, you know, I
cruises, by the way, for those of you listening, are not that expensive.
Yeah, they're great.
So they're really, and the most expensive part of a cruise is actually the flight to get to the.
What we do have to wrap up here pretty soon because we got worship night rehearsal. One of the things, PB, that I have enjoyed about you guys is how unashamed you are about travel. You know, we talk about this all the time. Pastors unwind in different ways. I golf. Some people build stuff. Some people rebuild cars. Some people travel. Like it's just how you refresh. I think what I enjoy, though, is that, you know, we get to honor God's creation and go view it in different lenses and see it and honor it. And I'm proud of you guys for doing that. I hope that it encourages our people to, you said it on your sermon on Sunday, it is not a badge of honor to rack up PTO and be like, look at me, I have a month of PTO. So what? Go see the world, invest in your marriage, take your kids out, go do something fun. You know, I don't understand that.
Everybody has a limited amount of discretionary time and money. And everybody has things that they like to do. And some people like to golf. Some people, you know, like to buy lots of new things. Yep. David. We like to travel. And Di and I just made a decision with the limited amount of discretionary money we were going to travel. A lot of people are like, how did you afford to be in Europe for a month, Brandon? Well, you probably noticed that while I was on sabbatical, there were lots of pictures of me and videos of me speaking at other churches.
Yeah.
So that's how I paid for it. I literally knew I was going to be gone, knew I needed resources to do it. So I booked 5 speaking gigs. That's literally.
But also, once you're in Europe, it's cheap. Once you're around, getting around and going to the other countries, and you know what? Who cares how you paid for it? I'm just glad you went.
By the way, shout out to Grant and Savannah Fox.
Got married.
I did their wedding twice. Grant is here listening, and Grant was insanely generous. I haven't even had a chance to tell you. They were so generous with the honorarium for the wedding, like you made up for the 5 people that didn't pay me for their weddings before and should have. But Grant, for example, paid for my Red Sox tickets. So we were like, sweet. Yeah. Well, technically it was the hotel we used for the Red Sox, but so that was kind of the way we did it. So I did a wedding here, I spoke here, and this paid for this paid for that. But yeah, I would say Venture, thank you for loving me enough to let me be gone for these 3 months. And I speak for Di too. Like, we felt so honored and blessed, and everybody that saw us was so gracious. Yeah. And I think the thing that was the best is that oftentimes you would hear, we didn't get this, but I would hear this from my friends that have been on sabbaticals. They would hear things like, we don't get sabbaticals where we work. And I felt like our church rejoiced that I was doing it and
put it
celebrated
in your bylaws, man.
And so venture meant a lot. And I loved the fact that the staff went out of their way to do everything really well and to assure Di and I that everything was taken care of and really do a great job loving the people here. And we did. I mean, there was a couple times we had to shift back into pastor mode and be back. Like, again, Grant and Savannah's wedding. My wife also did a wedding. And then, of course, one of the pillars of our church, Curleen Bryant, passed away. And I was not going to miss his memorial. Love Curleen. I miss Curleen deeply. And my heart goes out to Shirley and the family. And Curleen has a very, very special place in my heart and will always have that. But it was great. Last thing I would say about it is it was so fun being on sabbatical when 8 other ministers that I'm buddies with were on sabbatical too. So we all ended up in the same places, or I would be at Fenway and then a week later they would be there and we would be in this place. And then I'd find out Troy and Jana Jones were there. And then we were on this cruise and 6 pastors on sabbatical of my friends. We were all on this cruise together. They were all like still in the middle of their sabbatical because most of them took June, July, and August off, but we were heading back. So
that's awesome. Hey, I'll just say this: there are a handful of moments I just wanted to text you, and then I'd go to draft. I go, no, I can't. He's on sabbatical, and I just would forget. But I'm proud of our church. I felt like from according to what you guys said, our church really gave you guys your space. Really honored you
probably
guys.
more so than they needed to.
That's a good problem.
Eventually, you know how weird it was to not get text messages, emails, and phone calls?
No, I wish.
Normally, when David would drive home from work to go to Monroe,
I get it.
I was his entertainment on his way home
it's me and
to
Alex
Monroe,
Rosas.
And I wasn't getting the phone calls from David. Wasn't getting the text messages from you.
What did I text you about? Hey, how you doing? Hey, been praying for you.
I did have one other incredible moment while I was on sabbatical where I had to shift back into Pastor Brandon mode, which Tony and I are going to be super pumped to talk to you guys about.
Talk about
the
that.
End of the month.
End of the month. We have I think you know how pastors always go, we got a big announcement to make. God, don't miss Sunday. I think this is a pretty significant. We'll announce it at the end of the month. If
you want to know that, you want to know, let's quote Carrie Underwood. You want to let Jesus take the wheel. This is an example of let Jesus take the wheel, and he drives better than
we didn't lift a finger
than we do.
Yep.
That was like the cheesiest thing I've ever said. Can we delete that whole cheat?
Nope. Pastors Unfiltered. Well, hey folks, we need to wrap it up. Thank you so much, PB. Glad to have you back. Honestly, glad to celebrate the next 20 years of the church and celebrate what God's doing at all the campuses. But, it's I'm excited. Next week, it's going to be a hot and heavy one.
Oh, we're going to
go for Kamala. Kamala. I told you about Kamala. She hasn't been shot at. I've been shot at. And we're going to talk about that. Donald Trump standing up, getting shot at, and then going, fight! Whoa. A couple people in our church who then said,
was that not the most gangster thing ever?
All right. The brothers, okay. And then, the people going, where's Joe Biden? We had a couple people, oh, gosh, dang it. Unbelievable.
Next week.
Moronic. All right. Hey, folks, we love you. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. And thank you so much. Like we said, we are unbelievably grateful for the audience, the people who call this one of the podcasts that you regularly listen to. Thank you. It's an honor. We do pray. We take time to make this episode. So, hey, thanks so much. Don't forget, Jesus is the hope of the world.
Let's make him famous.
See you guys next week.
It's good to be back.
Raiders roll.
Let's go play Frisbee.